Now, I know a lot of people these days are into yes, right? Big word, yes. You got to say yes, but you got to say no. If you don't say no, I'm telling you, it'll mess up your health, mess up your future, mess up your chance for enterprise, profits, equities. Got to learn to say no, especially to the wrong influence, wrong association. So that's the first one, disassociate. Here's number 2, limited association. We've all got to be around a variety of people on a business day, social day, school day. We all have to. But here's the clue. Some people you can be around a few minutes, but not a few hours. Okay? Some people you can be around a few hours, but not a few days. So, you refine a study of your own association and influence and ask yourself, how much time would be beneficial and after that would not? Limited association. Here's number 3, expanded association. Find people of value and see if you can spend more time. Part of it might be seminars like this, or attend church more often, whatever. Get around people that have got something of value to share with you and see if you can get more time and let the better influence help shape your attitude and your future. Okay. Some influence has to come maybe by book, by cassettes. That's why we put this stuff on cassettes and books and videos, to let the association and the influence carry on after the live seminar has long since finished, so that the work may not be finished and it can go on by other means. People have long since been deceased. If they left a book, if they left a cassette, if they left some writings, if they left something behind that you could read or study or look at, how valuable that would be. Okay, that kind of influence. Okay, that's what shapes our attitude. So now we've covered the first 2 pieces of the 5 major pieces. Number 1 was philosophy. We're affected by what we know. Number 2 was attitude. We're affected by how we feel. Here's number 3. Everybody that's ready for number 3, say, I'm ready. I'm ready. All right. Number 3 is activity. We're affected by what we do. 1 is what we know. 2 is how we feel. 3 is what we do. Activity. This activity now is the work part. This is the labor part. In a unique experience, we refer to it as labor pains. I'm short on personal experience here, but the mothers in the room would tell us what? That's a unique experience. Now, why would a potential mother be willing to put herself through what she knows is ultimately going to be a rather painful experience? Why would she be willing to go through that? Simple answer. It's finally the only way to create new life. And above all notes you make today, make that one. New life only comes from labor. Labor. This is the miracle part. Labor produces life. Sure, it might be painful, but we've got a new phrase these days. It says what? No pain, what? No gain. The gain is the commodity, the new life, the new value, the new treasure, the new strength, the new muscle, the new whatever, the new bank account. But I'm telling you, it will not happen unless you put your better philosophy and your attitude into an activity program, a labor program, a work program. Without this, you've got no new miracle for your life. Key to my whole lecture for the day. This is it. This is the miracle piece. In fact, in the Bible, now I'm an amateur on the Bible, but in the Bible there's a book called the Book of the Activities. It's an extraordinary book. In fact, on everybody's best list, no matter what scholar puts a list together of the best writings ever written, this book always appears. Whether they're a believer in Christianity or not, every scholar puts this book on their list of the best writings ever written in the last 6,500 years. Interestingly enough, Old Testament always appears on everybody's list, no matter who puts it together. New Testament always appears. And this book out of New Testament always appears on everybody's list of the best writings ever written. And the reason is because it's one of the most extraordinary pieces of writing that's ever been written in 6,000 years. The book of the activities is a chronological, detailed description of the labor and the activities of the early Christians and the early Christian leaders in great detail. And when you finish reading this extraordinary book, here's what you will say. No wonder. That's what you will say when you finish this book. You will say, no wonder Christianity has lasted for 2,000 years and has become such a powerful influence in the world. Now, whether you're a believer or non-believer, we're just dealing with facts here. When you finish the book, you'll have the secret to the answer. No wonder it's so powerful, so influential, has lasted for 2,000 years. No wonder, look what they did. Now, you've got to jot that word down. Look what they did. That's the secret to the miracle process. Now, someone might argue with me and say, no, Mr. Rohn, the secret to the miracle process of Christianity was, look what they said. Well, I know what they said was important. That was the philosophy. What they said was the philosophy. But the philosophy would not have worked the miracle that it would have lasted 2,000 years. So let me give it to you in a little philosophical phrase. Here it is. Wisdom. Wisdom uninvested in labor is wasted and works no miracle. Someone else may say, no, Mr. Rohn, the miracle of Christianity was look how strong they felt. Look at the faith they had. Look at the courage they had. Strong feelings, emotions, power. I know that. But let me give you another phrase. Here it is. Faith uninvested in labor is wasted. There is no miracle without the labor part. That's why some people trying to become successful with, subliminal affirmations, it's too silly. Even multi-track. Bombard, pre-conscious, subconscious. I'm telling you, that's not where it's at. I got a good phrase for you to take home. Affirmation without discipline is the beginning of delusion. Unless you put a good idea now into labor, it works no miracle. But if you put wisdom and faith into labor, activity, now the chances to work a miracle are absolutely profound. Now the labor part comes in two parts. Let me give you that. Here's number one. Do what you can. Just don't neglect to do what you can. If you should eat an apple a day and you could eat an apple a day and you don't, that's called formula for disaster. Cardiovascular problems and all other kind of problems. Should, could, don't, that's formula for disaster. Now you've got to come up with your own shoulds. Don't let me dictate your shoulds. But if you say I should and I could, but I don't, then I'm telling you you're on the wrong track. 6 years from now, you'll be driving what you don't want to drive, living where you don't want to live. Don't have the health you want, don't have the treasures you want, empty purse, empty heart. You cannot let yourself fall into that kind of a disastrous formula, should, could, won't. It's disaster. So here's number one to perform a new miracle for your life. Number one, do what you can. If you can walk around the block, do it. If you can eat an apple a day, do it. If you can develop better health practices, do it. If you can get a book, get it. If you can read, what? Read. If you can change, change. If you can take some notes, take some notes. If you can learn, learn. If you can go, go. If you can do it, do it. Don't leave the littlest things undone. It's called heading down the wrong road. You say, well, can you turn your life around with something as simple as an apple a day? Yes, where else would you start? Are you going to wait for some flash of revelation to come out of the sky? I'm telling you, it's not going to happen. It starts with an apple. And if you don't start there, then you've got to put up with your own lack at the end of another 6, 8, 10 years. And that's something nobody else can fix except you. Democrats can't fix it. Nobody else can fix it. The authors of the world can't fix it. The wise people of the world can't fix it. It's only something you can fix by putting up your own sail, refining your own sail so that you could care less about the wind that blows. That's why we've gone through all of this. Now, the miracle is performed by two things. Number one, do what you can. That's all life asks us to do, is just do whatever you can and don't neglect it. It'll start a miracle. "2,000 years ago, on April 15th, one of Jesus' disciples," now from my amateur point of view, let me put it to you best I can. One of Jesus' disciples said to Jesus, "It's time to pay our taxes and we don't have any money." That's how come I know it was around April 15th. That's close. In response to this statement by this disciple, Jesus said, no problem. Now, why could he say no problem? Well, word has it, if you're a scholar at all, word has it, Jesus was a miracle worker. If you handed a problem to a miracle worker, what would he be inclined to say? No problem. You got to hang out with people like that. I'm telling you. Miracle worker. I belong to a little small group. We do business around the world. These guys are all miracle workers. What an incredible group. If you handed any of them a problem, guess what they would say? No problem. They'll read how many books to solve it? How many that it takes? If they need to consult, how much consulting will they do? As much as it takes. How early will they get up? As early as it takes. So it is no problem. You got to hang out with people like that. You cannot believe the thrill of being associated with miracle workers. People who will do whatever it takes to get the job done, perform miracles. Jesus said, I'm telling you, it's no problem. He said, it's going to be simple. This time to pay taxes and haven't got any money. It's going to be easy. Must have been to my seminar. Jesus said it's going to be easy. He said to his disciple, here's how easy it's going to be. Just go fishing. Now, it can't be any easier than that. And especially for this disciple, his name was Peter. And Peter was what? A fisherman. Now, if you can fish and you should fish and you don't fish, that's how come you get no miracle. But he said to his disciple, just go fishing. And the first fish you catch, look in his mouth. Peter said, okay. He was used to strange things happening. Peter goes fishing, catches the first fish, looks in his mouth, what? Coins. Coins in the fish's mouth. Peter says, wow, coins. And he starts counting and adding up the value of these coins. Guess how much it added up to? Exactly enough money to pay his taxes and Jesus' taxes. I'm telling you, Jesus did pay taxes. Now the question is, should he? And my book coming up is going to answer that question, right? Yes, of course. Jesus and kids should pay taxes. Everybody has to pay. Now, what do we call coins in the fish's mouth? Here's what we call it, a miracle. And here's why we call it a miracle, simply because we don't quite understand how it works. That's all. It doesn't mean it doesn't work. It means we don't quite understand how it works, which is true of all miracles, and most of us, all of our life is a miracle. I'm telling you. Here's the greatest miracle of all. God says, now I'm an amateur on God too, but let me give you my best shot. God says, if you'll plant the seed, I'll make the tree. Wow, you can't have a better arrangement than that. Number one, gives God the tough end of the deal. What if you had to make the tree? That'd keep you up late night trying to figure out, how do you make a tree? God says, no, leave the miracle part to me. I got the seed, the soil, and the sunshine, and the rain, and the miracle of the seasons, and I'm God, and I can do all this miraculous stuff. I just have reserved something very special for you, and that's what? Plant. That's it. Not chant. No, you don't have to chant and sleep under a pyramid. No. But if you want a miracle, you've got to do whatever you can do, and if that's plant, it's plant. If it's read, it's read. If it's change, it's change. If it's study, it's study. If it's work, it's work. Labor, whatever you got to do. So that's number one. Labor that works miracles. Number one, do what? What is your philosophy on labor versus rest?